Thank you, Sky. Thank you for that wonderful, wonderful introduction. So, isn't it just awesome to be here? Just amazing. Welcome, wamkilekile. We welcome you today to this most auspicious event of commitment to a profession, to a life of service with humility and integrity. As you are aware, this is not a graduation. This is an oath-taking ceremony. A graduation is a time when the university confers your degree onto you. It's a looking back and a celebration. Today is, for the most part, a looking forward to the rest of your career as you establish and start and grow and learn. In essence, it's almost bigger than a graduation. And we're delighted that we've been able to hold it amongst the provisions of COVID. So let's just take a moment to breathe and be present here today in this space, together as a community, as colleagues. All right, we're here. Sawubona, I see you. I see you who have struggled. I see you who have triumphed. Sawubona, I see you. All right, we're going to start with a reminder as to why we're here. Some words from a previous dean, Professor Marion Jacobs, who's going to share some wisdom and reflection as we think about why we're here today. Thank you.
I'm Marion Jacobs. I was the dean of this faculty until 2012. I am a public health pediatrician, and next year I will celebrate my 50th anniversary since my own graduation. At the moment, I'm doing a range of things, including serving as the co-chair of the Ministerial Advisory Committee for COVID. And in my spare time, I do other things like dancing the Jerusalema whenever I get a chance, and also being involved with both Artscape and Animal Welfare Society. Fellow graduates, colleagues that you are going to be very soon, as you're about to take your oath, perhaps you want to reflect on a few things. I think the first thing you want to think about is why you decided to pursue a career as a health professional. And then you would be failing if you didn't think about your journey, your very interesting journey in this Faculty of Health Sciences at UCT. So one of the first things that happened when some of you got here was the Fees Must Fall movement. And what did you learn from that? You probably learned that it's okay to raise your voice. You learned when you have to speak, and I hope you also learned when you need to keep quiet. The second big event was the tragic death of Bongani Mayosi. And that for you must have been a huge learning experience. The best part of it must have been the compassion that you felt for him and his family, for your fellow, for your colleagues, also for your teachers and the people who work in the faculty. And the third, of course, is this dreadful COVID that's hit you now in your final year as you're about to graduate. And there again, if you think back on PBL, which you probably didn't enjoy much, PBL taught you how to learn on your own and how to learn in teams. And that teams thing also came from you learning about your fellow students, learning about their challenges, their achievements, their lives outside of medicine, whether they're a star soccer player or a star Scrabble player, all of those things. And that must have been a wonderful experience. So as you reflect on your last few years in the faculty, you are now preparing to enter the world of work. And this is a huge step into a situation of power, where you will have the kind of power that's given to very few people. You'll have the power to listen to people's deepest secrets, the power to ask questions of them, the most intimate questions, the power to use your equipment, your drugs, your interventions, some of which may not be so pleasant for your patient. And you can make a choice whether you want to use this power that's given you as a health professional, or whether you in fact would prefer to be a healer that's caring, that's compassionate, a healer that understands the need to listen, a healer that's not scared to hold your patient's hand, to pick up a little baby, and to be just kind and normal, a kind, normal human being. And I think if you practice that kind of healing, you will go into the world that needs that sort of healing now more than ever before. And I'm convinced that you've been prepared for this. Your journey through the faculty, your learnings in this faculty, and your learnings in the world as you move from being a teenager into an older adolescent. So how can I wish you? I want to quote somebody for whom I have great respect, and that's Dr. Seuss. And he talks about, the places you'll go. So with apologies, I'm going to read what he says. He says, you're off to great places. You're off and away. You've brains in your head. You have shoes in your feet, feet in your shoes rather. You can steer yourself any way that you choose. But when you're alone, there's a very good chance in the night, in the woods, when you're all alone, that you'll meet the next thing that you'll meet will scare you out of your pants. Step with great care and great tact. Remember that life is a balancing act. So I want to leave you with that you must remember that you can't just focus on being in the woods and with your patients all the time. You must have a life, because having that life enables you to be a better person when you're caring for those whose health is in your hands. So congratulations, you're off and away.
All right, and now we come to the part of the ceremony where we're going to be handing out all these prizes. Can you see how many you are, and can you see how many certificates are here? And look at this. This is the number of distinctions. Is that not phenomenal? That is just amazing. Give yourselves a round of applause before we even start. As you can see, Prof. Green-Thompson joins us, and he would normally be here to be handing out as I announce. In his stead, we thank Dr. Tracy Naledi, Deputy Dean of Health Services, who will be here to assist me with handing out the certificates today. So thank you so much. So I'm going to announce the distinction winners first, and then the other prizes. We're going to ask you to stand where you are, and then we will bring your certificates to you. How cool is that? So we're going to ask you to stand, and we can applaud. Given that we have this rather large pile, we're going to announce 5 at a time. So we ask you to stand, and we'll applaud, and then bring your certificates to you. All right, so the first 5. Gafita Mustafa. Clap. Danielle Lunt. Okay, put that one aside, because she's obviously not here. Oh, okay. Chloe Taylor. Christina Fenner-Solomon. And Zola Mwaka. There you go. Woo! Brody Stevenson. Naomi Skeepers. Megan Eddles. Paula Buchanan. And Zoe Joshua. They must be joining the later ceremony. Nicole Lowe. Jenna Thompson. Alexander Burford. Frankie Silverman. And Erin Klaassen. All right. Julia Dark. Shafa Fatah. Alice Finlay. Shu Su. Kirsty McKinnon. Cecilia Mayer. Jenna Nunes. And Ashley Prinsloo. And this is where Dr. Naledi gets all her step count in for the week. Well done. Mireille Cavovier, not sure whether I pronounced it correctly. Demi Rosen. Julia Schwarte. Bathsheba Schulman. And Jessica Slater. Congratulations to all of you. So remember that this distinction is the overall average of 75% throughout all 4 years of study. Isn't that quite phenomenal? All right, we now have the individual prizes. The Susan Swart Prize to the best audiology student who has maintained the highest academic standard over 4 years, provided a minimum average of 75% has been obtained throughout the program. Awarded to Gafita Mustafa. And the best clinical performance in audiology, awarded to Gafita Mustafa. Sorry, I clearly didn't organize this very well. And the PDV Pienaar Prize, awarded by the South African Speech Language Hearing Association to the audiology student who has maintained the highest academic standard over 4 years, with a minimum average mark of 75% throughout the program, awarded to Gafita Mustafa. The PDV Pienaar Prize, awarded to the South African Speech Language Hearing Association to the speech language pathology student who has maintained the highest academic standard over 4 years with a minimum average mark of 75% throughout the program, awarded to Julia Schwarte. And now we have the South African Speech Language Hearing Association prizes. Awarded to the best final year student in speech language pathology, clinical, provided an average of at least 75%, awarded to Julia. The South African Speech Language Hearing Association Prize, awarded to the best final year student in speech language pathology, clinical, Danielle Lunt. And the South African Speech Language Hearing Association Prize, awarded to the best final year student in speech language pathology, clinical, awarded to, and a class medal for the best clinical performance in the following courses, provided a result of 75% is obtained in each case, for clinical speech therapy, 3A, and clinical speech therapy, 3B, awarded to Alice Finlay. Is she here? No. Okay. And the class medal for best clinical performance in the following courses, just to show you how fancy these are, provided a result of 75% is obtained in each case. Clinical speech therapy 3A, clinical speech therapy 3B, combined for 4th year speech language pathology, Danielle Lunt. Two class medals for the best clinical performance in the following courses: Clinical Speech Therapy 3A, Clinical Speech Therapy 3B, combined for fourth year Speech Language Pathology, and the class medal for fourth year Speech Language Pathology, the best performance in each year of study, Julia Scharte. And somebody else with some loot is the South African Speech Language Hearing Association Prize for the best final year student in audiology, clinical, provided an average of at least 75%. The class medal for the best clinical performance in the following courses: Clinical Audiology 3A, Clinical Audiology 3B, combined for fourth year audiology, and the class medal for fourth year audiology, best performance in each year of study, awarded to Gafita Mustafa. Hearty congratulations, a huge round of applause to all the prize winners. And thank you to Dr. Tracy Naledi. And at this moment, I'd just like the lecturers who are able to be here today to stand. Your head of division, your lecturers, please stand, so that we can thank them for the amount of effort and hard work that they've put into making sure that we finish the year. Thank you all so much. Now, as we start to ready ourselves for the taking of the oath, we're going to just listen to some more voices from some teachers, some faculty leaders, some community leaders, and just get ourselves ready in preparation, prepare our minds, reflect on what it is that we're going to be taking an oath to. So sit back and listen and reflect.
So I remember when I took my oath, I was overwhelmed with a feeling of relief and accomplishment and pride. And the words made perfect sense, but it's only with experience that the words actually take some meaning and really come to life.
As you are taking this oath today, remember, oath is about empathy, professionalism, and care. If you've got those three, you are a winner. Also, oath is about humanity, responsibility of both provider and receiver.
On reflection, the very first line stands out to me, which is I pledge to serve. And so we always need to remember that we are in service of people, not of ourselves, not of money, not of status or societal stereotypes. And we need to serve with integrity and humility.
I really think it's important to actually reflect on the privilege that it is to be a health professional. So many people are trying to apply to get into one of the disciplines at UCT, and for me, you know, it's a massive privilege to actually be sitting here today, or for me to have earned my degree as a physiotherapist. And I think we always have to remember that is a privilege to actually be helping someone through a really difficult time, that it involves one of the most important aspects of their life, their health.
One of the commitments that you'll make is that of lifelong learning. The commitment to lifelong learning means using the current period that we're going through as an example, is that you see that there's a rapid change in new knowledge, new diseases, and new health challenges. And as a health professional, you must always be at the forefront of research, information, new technology, to be able to respond appropriately.
Newcomer into the health system, you may often feel that you can't change much. As a group of interns, we were able to notice that one of our wards in a rural hospital really needed touch-ups. It was a children's ward that was quite plain, but we worked together with local businesses, with colleagues, to ensure that we transformed it into a child-friendly ward. This does illustrate that coming with new eyes, you would and are able to change things for the better within the health system.
Working with an underprivileged team and providing the coaches with skills or the athletes with skills to enhance their abilities is amazing. And I think that's the important thing within South Africa, is that yes, we might not have the resources, for every team might not be equal and every hospital might not be equal, but we have so much skill and knowledge as health professionals that it's so easy to actually teach another person.
As a health professional in South Africa, and given the inequalities in our societies, I think it's particularly important for health professionals to be mindful of those inequalities, to do their bits in terms of addressing those inequalities. And that will require us working not only across our disciplines in the health professions, but with other sectors, working intersectorally to make sure that we address the challenges of our societies in a comprehensive manner.
So the oath has guided my daily practice, and I noticed this in my second month of internship when one of the matrons came to me and asked which university do I come from. So I thought I did something wrong and said UCT. But what transpired actually has stuck with me for many months. So she noticed that there was something different in the way in which I interacted with the nurses, the porters, the patient, and she really wanted to compliment that. That was surprising because I thought I was doing what you should be doing, but she had noticed that as something extraordinary. So many of you will get into the service and think you're doing the normal, but that turns out to be the extraordinary because of the type of education you've received and the type of training that you've received.
And one needs to embrace the good times, but learn from the difficult times, and also look after yourselves amidst all of that, and recognize that you have immense power as a healthcare professional to be a voice for your patients, to uphold their human rights, to serve them, and as cliched as it may sound, to make the world a better place.
It is very important that the student must reflect on their work that they are doing within our communities, especially the marginalized community and vulnerable one. We need to hear the voices of our gogos, meaning our elderly people who are always standing in those queues at the clinic. We need to hear the voices of our own sisters who are domestic violence abuse. Go out there and be advocates for a change.
My message to students is to always remember what a resilient group they are. They are the group that saw the Fees Must Fall movement. They have just survived a pandemic. These are graduates who are going to be able to change the face of South Africa, the face of the health system in the country. And I think whenever it gets tough, every single graduate should remember that they have gone through the most and they will still survive.
I really do feel that these challenges have made the class more resilient, more mature, and more capable. And I really look forward to this new generation of more socially responsive and compassionate healthcare professionals.
To the class of 2020, you deserve a massive congratulations.
To you, I say that you've conquered, you've made it this far, and I know that South Africa is going to be a better place because of you. Go well and make us proud.
Congratulations on a remarkable achievement under extremely difficult circumstances. I have true confidence that you will be fantastic healthcare professionals for the communities that you work for. I wish you every joy and success as you embark on this noble and rewarding profession. Much love. God bless.
I would like to congratulate you for a journey well traveled. You have really surmounted many challenges, and we look forward to welcoming you into the health system.
A good luck for your future, and be the lamp wherever you go. Shine. Sithi isiXhosa, ndingantaka baba uvula amaphiko uwatweze, meaning fly eagle, fly higher and spread the wings. All the best to you. Halala, enkosi.
Siyabonga ngempela bothishela, siyabonga ngempela bomama nabobaba, bonke nje sibongile ngempela namhlanje. Thank you very much. And halala is really an acclamation made in celebration of a moment. And so the thanks that is given is really to you who are now our children who have learned what we asked you to learn. And we thank your parents because this journey is never an isolated journey. There are many villages, I have no doubt, celebrating and ululating in celebration of your achievements today. And there will be many glasses of champagne clinked over the next few weeks in celebration of this achievement. I am going to make the point, though, that the achievement is marked today by the promises you make. So I'm going to tell you 3 stories in the course of my remarks today before I hand over to Dr. Beg. The first one is that I had 3 nephews visit me last week, and my daughter took them out on Thursday and Friday night, and I got sick on Saturday, and so I've decided not to come into the office. I came in for an hour yesterday, a couple of hours yesterday, and then left. But what happened is that despite anything that I told them about how they should behave in the places that they went to, they were able to bring COVID back into the home. And I tell you that story only because it is your age group which is responsible for the most rapid transmission of the virus. I can't blame young people for being who they are, but I do want to make that point very strongly. And I make it in the context of this ceremony because I've not been convinced that despite our warnings, people haven't taken photographs after the event in a manner that have kind of breached the regulations. And so I'm asking you, please, to be mindful. If you have not been in the same places with people for sustained periods, please be aware that you must treat yourself as a positive carrier. I know it sounds grim at the start of this moment, but I do it at the beginning so that I can dispense with it and get it out of the way. This is the last live ceremony, so I'm going to make this comment about how deeply appreciative I am of the final year classes of this year. That we have gotten to this point speaks in great measure to your resilience and your commitment to what you're doing. But I do want to say that in your achievement now, you become inscribed into the history of UCT. And I suspect UCT is inscribed in your own stories too. Sometimes the stories are happy ones, sometimes the stories are not so happy. But they're nonetheless the stories that we will share as a legacy story going forward. I use the word legacy quite advisedly over the last couple of months that I've been here, because I'm deeply mindful of the connection of UCT's legacy, deeply rooted in the science that is produced here and the relationships that it means. But I'm also very mindful about how you represent our promise to the nation. You represent our fulfillment of a promise to graduate students who will enter the world of work in a spirit of service. In the week of on the 30th of November, mindful of the legacy, we invited a group of Khoi traditional leaders to come onto the campus to perform a ceremony which we wanted to declare an opening of a relationship with them. The people of the Khoi, in fact, inhabited the area around the faculty. That was their home at the very beginning, before people arrived to occupy the area. And so they've been speaking to us, but one of the things we picked up in speaking to them is how they valued this space as a place of healing. They had They occupied the area along the banks of the Liesbeek River, but importantly, they saw much of their healing power coming from the mountain Hurikwaha, which is their traditional word for Table Mountain. And so for me, it's been a very important confluence for us. We had asked them to come into a Thanksgiving ceremony, which really gives thanks for our completion of this year, but more importantly, marks our emerging graduates with the sense of connection to the legacies that are deeply bound in our histories. And so I'm going to ask for the video to be shown.
The lifting of the horns ceremony is a convocation with the ancestors.
Apply your knowledge and your wisdom to heal those that's in distress and need healing. The health science faculty, we are relying on you to be a shield over the nation, to protect them with your wisdom, with your knowledge. Give life to the young, secure the health of the old, help those that are in need of your healing, your knowledge. Sida ite la.
Our Father.
Sukwatse. Abotse sida ngaun ite.
Father of our four people.
Abotse taire.
Father, bless the teachers and students.
Si au nga au. In sida taiba ase iba.
So it can strengthen us. Let the name of the ancestors be honored and respected.
Kaisa ngui toho ba.
Please pay attention.
Ha ngaske ha kasa.
Education is important.
Sao ire.
Protect.
Kai gangang.
Thank you very much.
Hayesa.
Bless it.
Kai gangang.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And so, colleagues, that marked the beginning of a relationship that we hope to build over the next coming years, of relating to the people who were the first people to occupy this space. I'm not sure what it means for us as a faculty, but what I do know, it is about allowing different voices to be heard in our space and to acknowledge them as valuable and valued. And so they represent very strongly a legacy that we have. Our faculty is built on areas that they would have occupied, but there are many things which characterize our legacy. And as I was saying earlier, in your promising, in our completion of the promise in you to deliver care to our communities, I want to just emphasize this issue, this statement. You are qualifying in an unprecedented time. Many of you will be sent to towns and villages that you never knew the name of before, in the name of community service. You may become quite stressed and frustrated that the system doesn't work. And you will encounter moments when you feel that. But remember this, is that whenever you arrive in a space, you are likely to be the most important person in that care space. And that's really important for you to reflect on. Because what it means is that you, as you leave, just remember these things, that when you get into an area, the people who are vulnerable will come to you. the system may not treat them with any dignity or never be mindful of their vulnerability, but their encounter with you must always assure them of their dignity. So in every encounter that you have with the patient, ensure that they leave it in a way that they feel better than they were before. Make their encounter with you count. In the midst of all the frustrations and the conflicts you have and may be engaged with in the health system, you are scholars of communication now. You are practitioners of the arts of communication. Make your presence in communities count. Make it communicate a sense of value to the patients that you're encountering. Because I think what you have to reflect on is that many of the patients you've encountered over these past years have in fact been from the most vulnerable of communities and have come to you in their deepest weakness for support. I don't want to speak for too long today, but I want to just make a point about the oaths and the fact that they come from a very long time ago, in the time of Hippocrates, where the language was quite male orientated and a particular style, but the emphasis was placed on the fact that healthcare is the right of all people and that health professionals should engage in a professional manner. And so, colleagues, I'm going to leave Dr. Beg to lead with the oath now. I will continue to listen online. But yeah, I want to just point out to Dr. Beg, it's a long time since I heard anybody say snaps. That's a particularly generational thing, but I note that with solidarity. And colleagues, please go well, be safe, look after yourselves and look after us in terms of how we engage with this pandemic. Dr. Beg.
Thank you, Prof. Right, that has all been in preparation for this moment as we now think about taking the oath. I'm going to ask you each to stand. You have the oath in the folders in front of you. As you'll note, we've specifically placed your teachers, lecturers amongst you, because you now join as colleagues in taking the oath. You are now joining the profession and therefore joining as colleagues together. And so we take the oath together with you as we recommit ourselves and as you take the oath for the first time. So I'm going to make the statement first and then you follow on. Just a reminder that when the first statement, we're going to insert our names in between I and solemnly pledge. I will say my name, but the point is for you to say your own name when you repeat it, please, and then we'll take it to the end. I, Karen Beg, solemnly pledge to serve humanity. My most important considerations will be the health of patients and the health of their communities.
My most important considerations will be the health of patients and the health of their communities.
I will not permit considerations of age, gender, race, religion, ethnic origin, sexual orientation, disease, disability, or any other factor to adversely affect the care I give to patients.
I will not permit considerations of age, gender, race, religion, ethnic origin, sexual orientation, disease, disability, or any other factor to adversely affect the care I give to patients.
I will uphold human rights and civil liberties to advance health, even under threat.
I will uphold human rights and civil liberties to advance health, even under threat.
I will engage patients and colleagues as partners in healthcare.
I will engage patients and colleagues as partners in healthcare.
I will practice my profession with conscience and dignity.
I will practice my profession with conscience and dignity.
I will respect the confidentiality of patients, present or past, living or deceased.
I will respect the confidentiality of patients, present or past, living or deceased.
I will value research and will be guided in its conduct by the highest ethical standards.
I will value research and will be guided in its conduct by the highest ethical standards.
I commit myself to lifelong learning.
I commit myself to lifelong learning.
I make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor.
I make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor.
Welcome, colleagues. As a fellow health professional, welcome. You may be seated. Thank you so much, and let's celebrate to the beautiful sounds of Skye. Thank you so much.